It's time for the Wally Methot Show. Now, here are your hosts, Brent Wallace and Marc Methot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wally Methot Show. I'm Brent Wallace. He's the crazy hockey dad, Marc Methot. I'm just kidding, Meth. But you've had your 4-year-old now skating circles around everybody on the ice.
Yeah, he's skating with Shelly Kettles out in Canada. She's unbelievable. Obviously not getting paid for this. This isn't promotion or anything like that. But we're there every morning, first thing, which, I mean, you know what it's like, Wally. You've obviously been through it already, but this is my first experience taking my kid first thing in the morning to the rink. But I'm enjoying it a lot. It's been a lot of fun seeing the progression. She is unbelievable.
So, well, and same, Shelly, my kid, Ryan, started with Shelly in, I think, Learn to Skate program. So he's now 15. He just made U18 last night, and a lot of part is because he's gone to Shelly every year since. So
awesome.
Yeah, no,
incredible.
It's good. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see. So she is a huge part of that. And one of the things that we always do afterwards, whenever he makes the next level, is to thank all the people that have helped out. And so she gets a text, and the guy who sharpens his skates gets a text, and Chris Schwartz, who we worked out with this summer. Anyway,
Schwartz,
it's important to remember.
Yeah,
it's a village that takes to get these players to play
100%.
And to continue to improve. So with that being said, we will get to the show quickly. It is brought to you, as always, by Ridge Rock Brew Co. Go to ridgerockbrewco.ca, use the WHAM show coupon code, get 15% off. I just want to point out a tweet we got yesterday from Robin Cubitt. This is the best promotional I can send, so I didn't bother to write one. Off the advice of free agent Wally and the Wally Methot Show, we made the drive to Carp and tried out Ridge Rock Brew Co. and was not disappointed. Highly recommend. Great atmosphere, better beer, and great food, and obviously some takeout for another night. We appreciate you guys sponsoring and helping out our partners. They have a fantastic beer. So if you're
local.
in Carp, go see them, or you can order online and get home delivery. So that being said, Pierre Dorion, as we get closer and closer to the season coming up, spoke to Steve Lloyd the other day on TSN 1200. I had lots to say and had some stuff he didn't say, which makes me read between the lines. But we will start with the forward group. No surprises, really. He said Parker Kelly was going to have a spot on the fourth line. It was his to lose. That we knew that probably for a while now. Dylan Gambrell will likely be the fourth line center. As we said, probably Mark Kastelic still needs a little seasoning in the AHL. So there's no surprises, but there is one, and that continues to be Alex Formenton remains unsigned. And as we get closer and closer to camp, the leverage isn't with the player anymore, because now he's going to be looking at missing games. And so you wait to see how that plays out. We saw it with Brady, right? He missed some games. If Alex Formenton doesn't sign and isn't in the lineup, Math, who's the guy that's going to take that spot?
Oh, well, what's his status right now, Wally, as far as, like, you're saying he's an RFA? When's the, does he have a hearing? Like, did I miss that or something?
No,
there's no hearing.
It's already gone by. They didn't file. So it's now up to the player and the team to figure out a negotiation.
Yeah. So what'll happen here is, if he wants to hold out, he'll hold out. We've seen it happen occasionally throughout the league. It's not a pleasant process because it's conflicting, right? As a player, you don't want to be away from your boys, your brothers. You want to be in there. You feel guilty missing training camp. You feel guilty not being there shoulder to shoulder with them, going through that hard stuff. Like, it's the worst part of the season is training camp, right? You're breaking in everything. Anyway, I know I'm kind of deflecting, but I sympathize for him and the team, because obviously you want to come to an agreement. The team obviously wants something, fair and within reason. I don't know what numbers he's chasing, but in any case, the obvious question is, who replaces him? Who comes into the lineup? At this point, it's a dogfight. I mean, do you elevate one of your fourth line guys temporarily to fill in that void, and then look through your depth? I mean, that's the question that you're going to have to ask.
Okay, so here's who I'm thinking. A couple of things. One, this would have been a perfect opportunity, perhaps, for Ridley Gregg. Maybe.
Well, would have, yes.
Yes, if he didn't have the separated shoulders. So
correct.
He is going to be ready for camp, but I'm not sure he's ready to play the season in the National Hockey League, right?
Contact. That's a quick turnaround, So
Zach Ostapchuk, maybe does he get a look early on, and they just move Parker Kelly up, and then perhaps there's a spot for him there?
Yeah, like whoever comes in is obviously not filling in that specific spot. Like that spot's going to be a player that has games under his belt. You're playing third line minutes. That's still significant. And you're going to be facing top lines.
So here's the other caveat to that, and that was mentioned by Pierre Dorion. They're looking at potential PTOs, but the only PTOs he said he would bring in are ones that were likely to make the team. They weren't just going to waste it on anybody. That could be a spot. Third line guy, right? You see these players now that are in the league that probably are in the middle that are getting squeezed and end up playing for $1 million a year. Those middle guys, there's going to be a job.
Well, there are veterans waiting. There are veterans waiting out there right now. Like Derek Brassard. Derek Brassard is one. I know that's probably, I don't, if people are scoffing at it or what, but yeah. I know he's very passionate. He skates his arse off every day this summer. I actually talked to him yesterday, oddly enough, and he's still waiting for something. But, you know, when he came with Philly here last season before he was traded, I thought he looked excellent in games. Now, yes, he's one of my friends. I'm obviously biased, but those are the types that would probably sign for peanuts just to keep playing because they just love the game so much, right? Like Derek's made his money. He just loves the game more than anyone I know. So those are the types of players I'm looking at. But yeah, I mean, good point by you to bring that up. You bring in a PTO, some guy that can contribute, maybe can play up and down the lineup. Don't mind scratching them once in a while. Those are the guys that you're looking at. So yeah, I mean, where do you go from here? I don't know.
Well, that's just to be clear, like PTOs rarely work out.
Rarely.
Very seldom do we, right? But I think that this is perhaps a excellent spot and opportunity for Ottawa to find that player, because it could be a stopgap if Formanton holds out for a while, right? Or he ends up adding depth to this organization that they could use probably on that side.
Right. And I wish I could throw all these names. Like when it comes to some of these prospects, it would be disingenuous. I could tell you names based off their stats and highlight reel tape, but I haven't sat down and watched them play American League games from start to finish. I'm not, you know what I mean? So I know the NHL guys, but a lot of these young players, I'll have to wait and see how they fare in camp.
And they're like Meth. I seem like the downer guy, but they're just not ready. Some guys just aren't ready to fill that spot, or they need to have more depth. And I don't know
and it can be, and Wally, right there, I just don't want to miss that point you just made. They're not ready. You don't want it to be detrimental to their development, right? Like if you're not ready or you're not quite there yet, it can really like mess with your psyche. It can screw with your confidence moving forward. So it's a very delicate balance you have to be careful with there. And I think, like I said, you wait for those standouts at camp. Like what if Kastelik comes in and has a fantastic camp? Then you can elevate Gambrell or you can elevate another player. So I don't know that it's that complicated, but if there is a legitimate PTO available out there that the team and the scouting staff is aware of, maybe that's not a bad option to explore as well.
There is a legitimate spot as of right now until the Alex Formanton issues dealt with, and we don't even know about the hockey stuff and all that. But the contract alone is a sign that I don't know that it gets done before. It just seems like it's dragging.
It always looks that way.
And it comes right down to the last second. Yeah. By the way, sportsinteraction.com, go to sportsinteraction.com/Wally and Methot and get a 100% welcome bonus. They'll match your first deposit with up to $500 in sport bet credits once you place qualifying bets. And those bets have settled. Terms and conditions apply. Go to sportsinteraction.com. Everything is there to bet on. A fantastic website, including you can bet on the World Championships for the women's, by the way. So on the D, this is where it gets interesting, Matt.
Yeah.
And it always makes me chuckle every time I think of this. I think Pierre Dorion mentioned 9 to 10 different defensemen for this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Not one of them was named Nikita Zaitsev. Not one time in the entire interview did Nikita Zaitsev's name get mentioned. And I don't think that that's an accident.
No, I mean, how much are you willing to take if you're the GM or if you're the coach and you keep putting him out there and you get so much backlash from your base, from your fan base? Eventually you have to listen and understand that, okay, this experiment is just not working. I mean, and I hate bad mouthing players, but he was holding Chabot back. He just was. Nikita Zaitsev works very hard. He's just way too chaotic and has almost zero puck poise. It's like he's taken a bunch of pseudoephedrine before the game and he's jittery. And I'm not knocking his work ethic, but I just don't see it. It's not a fit here. And that's a gentle way of putting it. So, you know, I think did you mention Nick Holden and Hamonic and Pierre mentioning them, right? He was pretty high on them and that they were solid.
Yeah. So his top 4, he basically mentioned around Chabot, Zub, Hamonic, and Holden.
Hamonic and
So,
Holden.
and the issue that Sanderson doesn't get mentioned is because he's not a lock based on he mentions like he will not be a number 7. If he's going to be a number 7, he's going to play in the AHL.
I agree with that.
I'm assuming it's the wrist hand issue. If he's not 100%, we'll send him down till he is and then bring him up.
Right. Which really, I mean, in most cases, in my opinion, unless he's a top 4, you're not going to play him up there. You're going to play him 10 minutes a night. That's not good for his development. You want him with the puck. You want him to get reps. He's a defenseman. It's not the end of the world if he starts off in the American League, just to get him used to that pro game and then bring him up. I'm like everybody else. I want to watch Sanderson play at the NHL level. We all know he's going to be an NHL player. It's just, you have to be so careful, especially with defensemen, kind of like goaltenders. You got to kind of shelter them a little bit. But you know, you mentioned the top 4. I mean, I just don't know what that's going to look like with Holden and Hamonic as your 3 and 4, if that's the case.
So, and I think he's basically spoke of those 4 as the 4 guaranteed guys on the blue line.
And that's fair. And I agree with Pierre. Yeah. I agree with Pierre completely there. And then you have the outliers, right? And I'm reluctant to call them outliers, but and I know Craig's probably rolling his eyes because I'm going to go on a D rant. I'm not going to do that. You know, so we know Zaitsev's not in the picture. He's just not in the picture anymore. I don't think anyway.
Sounds like waivers. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so what? So now you got Brandstrom and who am I missing?
Brandstrom's not signed.
No, okay. So again, that's another
he's
guy.
Like Formanton.
But okay. So my point is though, let's assume he is signed at some point. You know, where does that fit into the lineup? I personally think they should move on from those 2. That's where I stand. At this point, I think the experiment is over. I know he's still young, and I love the player I like his character. I like how hard he works, but it's, eventually it's like, are you an NHL player or are you getting pushed off the puck every time you're in the corner? And it's a tough reality of what people have to face here. And I think for me at this point, you see how it plays out at camp. If a player can still pop up, if there's still an opportunity to make a trade, you take it. But Pierre's doing what he's got to do. He's got to be patient. He understands that most teams have leverage on him as far as training for a defenseman. They know how desperate the Ottawa Senators are right now. So you just play it day to day and see what happens. But the Zaitsev and Brandstrom experiment to me is going to be very curious. I'm curious to see what the team does with those 2.
What if Nikita Zaitsev comes to camp and looks great? What do you do?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say there. I'm sure. I mean, how many years has he played now? And I mean, eventually. But yeah, you're right. If he looks like a Norris Trophy winner, great. Then you keep him, I guess. I don't know.
The only reason I say that is because this is the first summer he's been skating in Ottawa all summer. He's stayed here. He's trained here. I don't know how different that makes it. I don't know what he did back home, but I just know it seems like he is at a different, or he's trying harder this summer to find a spot or to at least be productive.
And I hope he works out. I hope he proves all the doubters wrong. I know what it's like being in that position and people questioning your game. And as a player, you just use that as fuel all day, every day. It's literally the ultimate motivation. So being told you can't do something and trying to prove people wrong is always a great motivator. I hope he can do it and figure it out. But like I said, I feel like his mind, it's way too chaotic out there. And with this role that he's looking at and the price tag that comes with it, it's not a fit here on this team.
Fair enough. I don't disagree with you. One last point, and that's on Sanderson and Kastelic for the most part, is how, and you'll appreciate this, is how Pierre kind of avoids them. And for their only reason is they're not guaranteed spots, right? They are on 2-way contracts. He doesn't want, are you going to tell Jake Sanderson, don't worry, when you come to camp, you got a spot?
No.
That never happens ever in any of the years I've ever covered the National Hockey League. Same with Mark Kastelic. Mark Kastelic, they may say in their minds, we think he might be able to take this spot, but they're not going to say it publicly.
Yeah, they want him to earn it, right? And unless you're on that one-way deal, with a little bit of term and you've proven yourself, then, teams can be a little bit more forthright as far as, you coming in and having a guaranteed spot. But now with Sanderson, Kastelic, a lot of these other young players that are coming in, you have to make it hard for them. You want them to earn it. And earn that position. And I think that's the right play because you mentally, you want them hungry. You don't want them just going in there all kind of lackadaisical and comfortable. You want them a little uncomfortable. You want to see what they're made of and what kind of jam they have. And it's always a test. And it's always an exciting time for young players.
That's always the thing. If you're on a two-way contract, rarely do you ever get said that you got a spot on the team. So
Never.
when general managers speak at this time of year, just take it with a little grain of salt,
or just don't pay attention to it, right? Like, don't even listen
Yeah.
to the media stuff. Just like, don't listen to us. Just focus on your game and pay.
Listen to us. Don't listen to anybody else.
Yeah. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Coming up in the show, we've got Mathieu Joseph. Finally, I've been trying to track him down for months. He is going to join us. He is known as the life of the party, and we
Wally,
will look forward to having it.
Do you wear that same bowling shirt during the interview? Or are you going to change?
No, and this is what you got today.
So did you pay for that shirt? Like, I'm serious. I don't know if we're still recording. You didn't pay for it.
No,
oh, thank God.
I did not.
Thank God. Okay. All right. We'll see you during the interview then.
I've worn this on national television.
Are you really?
This is a
that line across your chest looks like a bike reflector or something. Yeah, like it looks like it would glow in the dark.
I use it when I flag for BEI on the side of the highway. It helps.
Oh, I love it. You're a beauty. Right.
Speaking of our good friends at BEI, Connoisseur Excavating Inc. Are you looking to refresh your front yard, do a complete landscape job, or need some landscape stone aggregate? Maybe thinking of redoing the driveway this summer. Connoisseur Excavating here to help. Competitive pricing on all your landscape needs.
You can hold the stop sign for the Wally.
I was going to say, give them a call, 613-432-1120, and maybe I'll stop by and help flag down the cards. Go to bonsureexcavating.com. BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley.
Oh, fuck.
Listen, I put some thought into this today. Actually, you know what? Here's an honest story. So when I got laid off from TSN, everything I had TSN on it. I had probably 50 golf shirts, and they're really good golf shirts. I know you don't like this one in particular, but so I just started giving them all away, but I've kept a couple. This is one of them. Makes me chuckle that you kept this one, Wally. I've kept a couple, and this is one of them. And so I don't wear them often, but I do have this.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I think Darren Dreger's got the same one.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
All right. Still to come, the Mathieu Joseph interview. As you're watching the Wally Methot Show, brought to you by Ridge Rock Brewery. Pleased to welcome into the show now two-time Stanley Cup champion and Ottawa Senator Mathieu Joseph. Mathieu, how's your summer going, my friend?
Really good. What about you guys?
It's good, although
that's
it's
the
over.
First time. See, that speaks to his character, Wally. That's the first time somebody's asked us how our summer has been going. That was very polite. Appreciate that, Matt.
This should go well. I'm excited.
Brent, right? Yeah. So.
Yes, for 5 months, you've allowed me to bother you to try to get you to come on the show, and I'm excited now to have you. It's been a long time. It's been a lot that's happened to you, I'm going to say, in the last year or so. Can we just go back to maybe the way that you got traded here? Were you expecting a move, and were you surprised it was Ottawa?
Yeah, a little surprised, to be honest. Obviously we made a big trade in and getting Braden Hagel at the deadline. And after that I didn't really think about trades, to be honest. To be honest with you, it wasn't really in the back of my mind at all during that season. But after our general manager, Julian came up to the media and said that, don't expect other moves from us. There's probably not going to be other things that's going to happen. For me, it was pretty clear that, nothing was going to happen. So obviously a little bit surprised. But you know what? It's a business, it's a business. And, you've seen other big trades that happened this summer, not even necessarily expecting it. And, it's the hard reality sometimes of our sports. And, it's part of it at the same time. So, obviously a little bit surprised, but very excited to have joined the Senators. And, obviously signing a 4 years with them was important for me as well. And, like I said, to show that I was excited to be in that organization.
How quick, or who was the first to text one another? Did you text Shabby right away, or did Thomas Chabot get a hold of you first?
Honestly, he called me I was pretty sad at the first time. I had a lot of friends in Tampa. Obviously great place to live. And when you hear I was actually just coming back from a golf tournament. There's a golf tournament at the best bar in Tampa every year. and I got to be there. A lot of people there was 6 weeks left in the regular season, so a lot of Bolts fans were there, and asking us, hey, good luck this year, going for 3P, blah blah blah, like. And that day, that's the day who I got the call on the way back after the golf course. So, right after that, obviously called my parents before it was out, and I think Shabby knew from maybe before that before that even happened, and he called me with a huge smile. I was kind of a little disappointed. I guess I'll see you soon, buddy. But no, he called me right away, and it was good. I mean, he was excited for me to be there. I was excited to see him as well, and obviously everything was fine after that first day. I got over it really fast.
How much easier, Matt, does it make it for you on a trade like that when a player is on the other team and you know him really well? In this case, obviously Thomas Chabot. Did that ease that transition for you a little bit, going into a room with a bunch of new players?
Oh my God, it was my first time being traded in general,
Yep.
So obviously having some things in common with someone, and obviously a friend that I've played with in junior, that I've won with, roommates on the road and in most places with Team Canada, and it made the transition for me so much easier. And obviously Shabby is also one of the pillar in that organization, an important piece of the future in Ottawa, and well respecting around the room, young veteran, if you can call it like that. And having a guy like this that brings you to meet everyone and to make you comfortable right away is very, it was very important, very useful for me in that transition. And shout out to him too, of right away he was like, oh, you don't have to stay at the hotel, you can stay at my place, blah blah blah. Great hospitality from him. And obviously you probably won't hear this, but I would probably do the same for him.
So okay, so
wasn't expecting anything less, actually.
That's fair. Are you still staying at his place? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm assuming he's kicking you out.
Yeah, no, he's I'm leaving. He's not kicking me out. I'm leaving. No, but for real, it was good. For the 6 weeks we were there, him and his girlfriend, Marion, that I know very well as well, was they were great to me, and couldn't have asked to have a better place to stay for the 6 weeks that I was there. But no, I like to live by myself at some point. And this year, this is what's gonna happen.
Nice.
Did the new contract make a difference in where you sign or where you picked a new place to live?
It might be. It's probably gonna be in the future. Probably not this year, obviously. I think I'm gonna rent for the first year. Getting to know the city a little bit too, and but that's definitely in the plan of getting to buy something at some point in Ottawa. That's for sure.
Okay, last a question I have about Shabby. Well, there's a couple, but one is, he said when you signed the deal that you had to buy him dinner, despite the fact that he probably makes twice as much as you. What kind of dinner will
a bit more than twice.
What kind of dinner would you give him?
Honestly, he's from shit nowhere in both, so pretty much anything could work, to be honest. But no, honestly, I know Shabby likes some good dinner, good fancy dinner. He's probably like I say, he's not used to have fancy dinners over there, so he's got to try some stuff. But it's gonna be my pleasure to buy him dinner after all he did for me since I've been here. I know he loves pasta, so maybe a good Italian place would be a great spot for Shab.
We're coming back to him in a bit. First, I want to do Pearls of Wisdom, brought to you by BEI. This is where we let the fans know a little bit more about you without just a typical bio. So let's go with some numbers. 91, that's the career goals you scored with the St. John Sea Dogs, third most in team history. 32 points in the 2017 QMJHL playoffs, led the league. And of course, you will quite fondly remember 4 assists in the President's Cup clinching game. 5, that's a number of games it took you to score a hat trick with the Ottawa Senators, tying the franchise record. You'll never remember Steve LaRouche also scored a hat trick in his 5th game of the Sens. And then finally, 1, first career goal scored was against the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa on November 4th, 2018 versus Craig Anderson in a game that you guys, the Lightning, won 4-3. You had a pretty good start.
Can I add something to this too, by the way?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you see that, my first NHL goal is actually really funny because Chabot was on the ice, and basically there was a turnover that happened, and I kind of blocked his stick, and he had like one hand on his stick, and he was trying to play 2-on-1, but he's kind of back checking. So I blocked his stick so I can, so he wouldn't be able to put his stick, and he dropped it. Like it was almost a slashing. You would still argue that it's a slashing, but
I love it.
But in my opinion, it wasn't. But obviously, I mean, I'm the one who scored the goal, right? But he still think that goal shouldn't have counted. Still, so that's pretty funny that Chaddy was on the ice with us, actually.
Oh, it's very good. You had a really good start coming to Ottawa. Was it obviously 12 points in the final 12 games? You had the hat trick. You had another 3-point assist, a 3-assist game right after. Did it go better than you expected, or was this all adrenaline? How would you sum up your Ottawa Senators season?
You know what? I think it's a little bit of mix of things. Obviously, probably not going to produce at this rate in the future necessarily right away. Obviously, I think I can fit in some places in the lineup, and able to, I think I showed that I can play with whoever lines you're putting me on.
Yeah.
Sorry. Brother's just completely got no worries. So yeah,
he's always
honestly,
trying to show you up.
No, but honestly, I think I think I can mix and match pretty well in those top 3 or even top 4 the 4 lines, and but at the same time, I think it was a little bit of coming in a new team, new guys, want to prove yourself a little bit. I did get a lot more ice time that I got in Tampa for some of these games, and I'm a guy who gets, when I get a lot of touches, my confidence goes up a lot, and I think I can follow up with everyone because of my speed. So it was maybe not something, like I said, maybe not something I'm gonna hopefully it stays like this, but expectations would be really high for me to expect to keep going at this rate. But I think wherever I can fit in a lineup, like I said, I'm a pretty versatile player, and I have a lot of pride in my defensive game. So for me, being able to play on the first, whoever in the first 3 lines, hopefully I can just help the team win.
Yeah, and Matthew, that was sort of my takeaway when I was watching you play. Versatile came to mind right away, right? Like you can play up and down the lineup, as you just mentioned. And obviously you mentioned there toward the end about your defensive play. Now, were you killing a lot of penalties in Tampa? Because I know it's an older team, a lot of vets. So I don't know what your role was necessarily there and how that translates into Ottawa. I'm assuming you're going to be looking for a lot of PK time here in Ottawa.
I was on the first unit in Tampa for I would say probably 50 out of 60 games that I played there. First or second, I mean, it really depended this year, which team, but usually on the first or 2 guys that were going out there in Tampa, and that was built with time, to be honest. In my rookie year, I started a little bit, but not much. My season after wasn't really out there much. But you know what? As more as I went up with time and the years that were coming, they were starting trusting me a little bit more, and something I take pride on in junior. Obviously, there were some stats here that you just said, Brent, but I know in PK I had some. In junior I had some good numbers on the penalty kill as well, and I think I wanted to translate that to the pro level, and obviously it's a little difficult, but I think my speed can definitely help about that.
Exactly, speed, right? And I just imagine being on the power play, let's assume I was a power play player, which I never touched it in my life, but if I'm on the blue line and I'm defending, and a guy like you and Formanton are up there going back and forth, swinging around, it's a nightmare, right? So
yeah, it is.
That's to me, that's the dream. You guys being the two go-to players up front on that PK, such a good role to have.
Well, the thing is also, on the penalty kill, sometimes the power play thinks, there's an extra guy, and we can probably beat them, but at the same time, sometimes there's 4 forwards on the ice. So that
Yes.
changed, or even 5. Some teams have sometimes 5 forwards on the ice.
Yep.
That's not every. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but if I take a 2-on-1 as a forward, I don't really know what I'm doing out there, So, sometimes if the D gets caught and, you get up to a 2-on-1, there's chances to bring offense there. And they're huge momentum swing during a game.
Big time.
Shorthanded goal in a game can change completely the aspect of a game, even if you're down by a couple goals or even up by a couple goals. And, I think they're important. And even if your PK, I think also if your PK does a really good job of changing momentum, not even if they score, but if they have a couple scoring chances, well, that can brings up some guys that, not necessarily go out there, but, first couple lines that are guys who can put a puck in the net. So, I think in general, all this together can really help a team to have success. And I think it was a pride of Tampa in the last couple of years. I think, it was important for us to be good in penalty kill, and that did definitely give us some boost.
When you scored your hat trick, did you by chance, Anthony Cirelli's a good friend, did you send a chirp text, anything, or did you send one to John Cooper going, I told you all along I had this?
No, I didn't. Honestly, a couple of guys congratulated me, but I saw these guys at the White House when I was injured at the end of the year, and they all talked to me a little bit about it, and John as well, and saying the guys were kind of fired up for this to happen to me. So no, I didn't get a text. I didn't text any of these guys, but they were really nice. They were really nice to me.
I have to ask, like you brought it up there, the White House. We've never had a guest on actually go through that process. I don't expect you to give us every little detail, obviously, but what's that like? Like getting in through the security, driving up in the bus, like tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't know why I was nervous, but I was. Just getting in. I shouldn't have been, but obviously a lot of securities left and right, double checking stuff. But at the same time, they were super nice, and it was just pretty historical for me. You get in and there's there's posters and paintings from years and years and years old, and a lot of history behind it, and cool building too. Really obviously well clean, kept together, but also a massive building that you don't expect to have that much in there. And and to be honest, it was a great experience for me. I wasn't sure at first, obviously just because of the awkwardness a little bit of coming back with your old team, and but at the same time we won together, and they're always going to be my family no matter what. So
did they take your cell phones? Did they let you walk in with your phones? I was at the U.S. Embassy the other day for my son because he was born in Texas, and they made us check our phones at the door and iPads, you name it. We weren't allowed in the building.
Really,
that's why I asked.
Well, you know what? You actually have a good point here, because we got to spend a little bit of time in the White House, and then the President Biden brought us to the Oval Room for a little bit of time, just showing us around and talk to us a little bit, about how this is going, and just basically United States of America. So it was pretty cool to get in there, but this place we couldn't take pictures. So it depends.
Yeah.
So there's a couple places where it's a little bit more touchy. But what I was most impressed of was the size of the window, like the thickness of the side of the window everywhere. Like the doors are so heavy, and you feel like if you touch it here, like the actual end of the window is like over there. So it was pretty interesting and pretty cool for me too. Yeah, it was really cool experience for real.
Yeah,
nice.
I did the Bruins Cup one in 2013, whatever year it was. One of the neatest, coolest experiences I've ever had. And they had my date wrong for my passport. They had the year off, and they wouldn't let me in. And I'm standing outside in the rain at the security desk. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like plainclothes people with dogs just appeared out of nowhere. That was a bit intimidating. They finally let me in. And then we got to go downstairs. So you go down where all those little rooms are. And I think they call it the Washington room, and I think that's where you meet the media. Like that stuff is really neat to see when you don't have the opportunity, like everybody does, to just go hang out at the White House.
Yeah. Like the the type of I forgot the word, but the dishes that every president had, like
Yeah.
what they can just decide what like design they want on their dishes, and like there's all those presidents that have that, and all the first lady as well. So things like this that you don't see anywhere else, and it's like it feels like a massive museum at the same time as
Yes.
a really important part in the United States just history or yeah.
Nice.
Okay, well, let's move on to you getting back to the White House and winning a Stanley Cup with the Ottawa Senators. And it may not happen this year, but perhaps soon. There's a lot of excitement, Matthew. I'm sure you've seen it throughout the summer about the new look of this team, the additions, and everything. Like, what is your feeling as you guys head into this season? Has there been a lot of talk with you and Shabby and whatever about what's going on here and the excitement level surrounding it?
Yeah, obviously we've talked a little bit about it. We saw each other a couple of times this summer. In general, I think we feel the buzz around the team a little bit. We feel the buzz around the city a little bit as well. The thing is it's the NHL. It's a hard league to win no matter what team you are, and obviously you see it with Tampa in the last 3 years being able to reach the final, but there was a lot of up and down in our season as well that even if they were able to get there, it's a process, and I'm not trying to lower expectation on our team. I'm just trying to say that it's a hard league to win no matter what lineup you have in front of you.
Yep.
And I think we know that. I think the team knows that. The management knows that as well. And it's going to come down to who competes more on opening nights and the consistency of our team. Obviously, there's some new addition in there, great additions, and everyone's really excited. I am as well to see these guys in action. Some really talented players, and but at the same time, we're gonna have to build chemistry with this, and it doesn't take 1 or 2 games sometimes to just build chemistry with new guys. It takes some time, and you're lucky if something gets have chemistry right away. It's not something that is usually easy to reproduce in fact of other guys coming in new teams. Obviously I feel like those guys are pretty easy to play with, I'm not gonna lie, but like I said, it's gonna take more time than people expect, and I know our camp is really quick too, so you're gonna have to put a system in it, trying to find some line combination, and feels this with the new addition and the new guys, and so obviously we'll see what happens, but definitely excited for this opportunity with the new guys coming in.
So you're going to probably play. I mean, I'm only making assumptions here, but I think a lot of people have you slotted with Pinto and Formanton. I don't know where you like. There's obviously, I know you can play up and down the lineup, but I'm assuming you're probably going to start with those two.
Yeah.
How familiar are you with Shane? And I mean, obviously you're not skating yet in Ottawa. What's that going to be like for you? And have you spoken to him much? And are you excited for that?
I've actually, sent him a couple of Snapchat here and there during the season. I was like, hey, I hope you're ready this year. I can't wait to buzz with you. Just to put him in the mindset of, hey, when we were, there's good chances we're going to play together. But no, I've met Shane last year and he was injured. So we got to just spend a lot of time together actually. And, it's a good thing I feel like for obviously chemistry, being able to, new guy, it's going to be a new season for him. Obviously, things happened in the last 2 years that make him not able to play as much. But I'm excited to see him play. I haven't really seen him what he's capable of, and I just know he's a really good, reliable two-way center, and who's young and has a ton of talent. So really excited for that. And Steady's. I love playing with Tony Cirelli in Tampa. A little bit similar style of hard kind of good two-way players, and can do anything on the ice really. And hopefully Pinkin is able to do that, and really excited to play with a right winger, right center too.
What do you take out of the dressing room in Tampa, I guess mentally, that you can bring to Ottawa? Clearly a veteran group, it's won Stanley Cups, a lot older group. Like, what have you learned that you can maybe use here in Ottawa?
Yeah, I think a really good mentality in Tampa was that no matter, first of all, you're never really out of a game in general. I think I learned this the best win my first year. We were down 4-0, 5-0 sometimes. We ended up winning games. And that's number one thing. Sometimes it's momentum swings, right, during games and during the season. And so I think that's one mentality I brought. The second thing also is, not panicking. I know it's a little similar, but it's really important to not panic in general on the ice against each other. Sometimes things don't go your way. You got to find a way to make it go your way. And I think the biggest thing in Tampa was that, like you saw in the playoffs, and obviously the first game against Columbus, you had to go to 5 overtime after we got swept the year before. That could have changed a lot of the mentality we had. But after that, after you go 5 overtime in 5 overtimes, and then you end up after losing, four in a row to Columbus after finishing first the year prior to this, it makes you think, okay, well, there's no limits. The sky, like this was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. So after that, not that nothing, it's still hard, but it's a good way to understand that, oh my God, like I pushed my body to almost the limit here after 5 overtime playing for 7 straight hours, So, that was something that, I think I can bring this year. Obviously didn't play this game, but, saw that mentality from veteran group. And, I would say that's probably the two most important thing, not panicking and, you're never really out of the game. And, if you trust the process in a way, I think it's important too. You're not going to win Stanley Cup in the first 10 games of the season. So I think the process is important in that sense of, every game you got to be consistent, you got to show up every game. And when it doesn't go your way, then next game is more important. Then, I think that's the mentality you have to have every day.
You're watching the Wally Methot Show, brought to you by Ridge Rock Brewery. Go to ridgerockbrewco.ca, order online. You can mix and match. Use the Ridge Rock Wham Show coupon code, 15% off, and you can try their new dry hop sour, tart like bodied, hints of pineapple, guava, grapefruit, and citrus. Ridge Rock Brewery. Try to ridgerockbrewco.ca. Matt, I'm just curious about, if you win the Stanley Cup, you've had, let's see, I've seen you drink out of the cup. I've seen you eat poutine out of the cup. What would be the next logical progression for you to have in the Stanley Cup?
Oh boy, that's a really hard question. Honestly, really haven't really think about it. I know poutine was something I wanted to do for years. Talked about it really, prior even winning the Stanley Cup. But you know what? I don't know. I think it's kind of tough for me to answer this, because I'm such a day-to-day kind of guy that I didn't really think about about doing this again. But I'll try to think about it and maybe answer you middle of the podcast.
All right, fair enough. I'm thinking a Beaverdale, perhaps, from Ottawa, but it's not necessarily as exciting. I do appreciate the poutine. Are you a poutine connoisseur, by the way?
A poutine what?
Connoisseur. Like, do you look for the best? Like, what would be your favorite poutine?
You know what? I really do like poutine, but I'm not a complicated guy. Like, I really need my poutine to be like, fries, cheese curds, and gravy. There's so many different types of poutine now with like pork and sausage.
Yeah, they ruin it.
And you know what? The poutine should just be simple.
He doesn't really strike me as the type that eats a lot of poutine either, Wally. Am I wrong there, Matt?
No, I don't eat a lot of poutine, but I can eat poutine often.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Based on your social media this summer, what do you think the percentage of you with your tarp off is? I think it's about 90% of basically all the photos I've seen, no shirt. You're like Meth. You and Meth can hang out all summer.
Matt, I'm the same way in the summer. I never wear a shirt, so I get it.
I mean, it's too hot to wear a shirt, honestly. It just gets too hot, and I don't feel comfortable wearing. You know what? It's kind of funny you say that, because at home I was trying to find a shirt for this interview, because I don't.
Me too.
I don't wear shirts. I don't wear shirts at home. So no, but you know what? I got to go a couple places, which was nice. Spent a couple times on the beaches in Maine, and get to go in St. John as well. And it was obviously had personal photographer following me around. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, no shirts is the best thing.
What's your favorite vacation spot?
The favorite place that I've visited, or probably ever, it's tough for me to answer this also, but I would say Iceland or Hawaii. I think that's both
Oh
places
wow.
that I've been to. This year was my first time in Hawaii, and I can't wait to go back. Honestly, it was really cool experience. It just feels, both places just don't feel like it's the same planet. It just doesn't feel like you're on the same. Obviously, they live very differently, but as well as the vegetation and their lifestyle that they're living is just completely different. So really enjoy both those places.
When you come into this year, do you set goals? I know this is a tough one. Players hate answering this question necessarily. Like, I'm going to score 50 goals. Doesn't make sense. But do you have personal goals that you're looking to accomplish?
You know what? I think it's a good question. Obviously, there is some personal goals I want to achieve. I don't know about the numbers yet. I think it's going to depend a lot on probably the first 10, 15 games of the season as well.
Yeah.
I think you can see a little bit more where your role is going to be, your ice time wise. Injuries happens here and there too. So, that's a big thing. But to be honest with you, I've always wanted to, achieve goals for myself, but my goal is to win. I enjoy winning over anything else. And in anything I do, to be honest with, and it's not just, like I said, not just in hockey. If I play golf during summer against people, if I do pretty much anything, I just enjoy winning. And if my personal goals aren't reached as much as winning is, then I can I can cut a little bit of those performance thing if I enjoy winning. And I think that's a lot of what I was doing in Tampa. Obviously, they trusted me a lot on, like I said, on the first PK earlier. And my goal, one of my big objective was to be really reliable on the penalty kill. And despite not being always consistent on it, if I was able to help the team win with my partner out there, it was more important for me than my own performance, if you can say something.
Yeah.
If you could say it like that.
Yeah. You'd sacrifice some of your own personal achievements for winning, right? Like, I get it. Like, you're putting your own personal interests aside in the best interest of the team. And that's the perfect answer. Honestly, I totally agree with you. It's the right attitude to have.
Yeah. Well, I think, I feel like winning is going to help you, reach those own performance. So at the same time, like, if you were able to win in those, obviously, you want to help the team to win, and you want to score as many goals as you want. That's not something, that I'm going to deny. But, I feel like if you keep winning, it's just going to help the entire team on the personal level. And,
agreed.
I've seen it in Tampa, like I said, in a couple of years, and, some guys have signed, huge tickets to, after those cup runs because of that. And, not just because of that, obviously deserve it. But, winning helps everybody. And it's a mentality that I want to bring, not that I want to bring, that just that I always had. And, since I'm, junior or midget. So,
you talk about being ultra competitive. You played this summer in a charity hockey tournament where you were named captain of one of the teams. Is that one of those where you don't want to lose?
You know what? Usually, yeah. I don't know. This year I wasn't really good at all during that game, and we ended up not winning it. But yeah, I mean, every time I step on the ice, and obviously it's summertime, you don't want to shoot on ankles and take scalper from the blue lines. But yeah, I mean, I like a little bit of competition in pretty much anything I do, and doesn't just make it more fun. It's also it puts you in the right mindset in general, and it's more fun to do it with a little bit of competition than if you're just participating. So definitely something I was competitive in.
Shabby had a Bruins jersey on in that event, if I'm not mistaken. Will there be
Yeah, you did.
any kind of repercussions for that?
I had a Vegas Golden Knight jersey on, so I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot going on, but no, they won't be. That event in Quebec City actually was Bergeron and Gagne won, and I think it was their 14th
Year.
season, or it's 14th event, and obviously one of the Golden Knights and one in the Bruins, and really fun charity. Another shout out to him. Honestly, he was really kind to bring my brother and I for the first time this year, and it was 10, 11, 12,000 people in the stands during that event for Leucan, which is cancer, researching cancer in kids, and other charities. And I put it on my social media, but it's always humbling for me to participate in those type of charities, and helping young kids in our generation, not just in hockey but in general. And if I could have an impact on those kids, and by playing a charity game, I mean, it's not something very hard for me to do, to come in and just put my shoes and talk to a little bit of people, and getting to raise some money for things that matters. And I'm always happy to do it.
You raised a lot of money this summer, and that's one of the things about you. And I said when Ottawa traded for you was that you will become a fan favorite because of the way that you conduct yourself, the energy you bring. And I got to see part of that at the World Championships early on. How long did it take you to open up in the Sens room? Like, were you pretty quiet at the beginning, or did you start right away?
You know what? I don't know. I think the guys are probably going to be able to answer that better than me. I'm not a shy guy, to be honest, and I like talking too much, probably. And and sometimes it can be annoying in the room when someone comes in right away and you're just like, wow, this guy takes a lot of room. But at the same time, I think my personality is just that I enjoy being at the rink, I enjoy being around the guys, I enjoy competing, and I feel like this. If you have that positive attitude every day, even if you talk too much, then it's contagious, So I love debates, love opinions, love talking about random things, and but I think it took me a couple of days to really adapt, starting to know the guys. But like I said, I had a big pillar in Shabby, and I knew all other guys as well in the locker room. And to be honest, just getting in the room was so easy. The guys were welcoming me really well. It's a group of guys that are similar to my age. We're all around the same age group, and it was a fun environment and a fun atmosphere on the team. And hopefully we can do the same and this year with that winning part as well. So.
One of the things people talk about is how close Tampa is and how it plays a part in their winning. Did you notice? And people have talked about Ottawa being that kind of close knit group because, like you said, you're all roughly the same age. Did you see that kind of tight knit dressing room early on?
Yeah, I saw it right away. I saw the guys are there to compete. They were exciting for new places to play. Obviously, first couple of years in the league. I'm still adapting in new places, and I have places in the league that I have played maybe once or twice, not even. So it's fun to go places, and you could see the guys were excited about it, and obviously the environment and atmosphere around the team and the buzz and the guy chirping each other, and little things that you see usually in close teams. It reminded me a little bit about my team in junior, and we were extremely close. That St. John alumni this year, we were all in the Mem Cup, and I think 35 alumni or 40 alumni came back in St. John for the weekend. That just shows how much it meant for us to play there, but also how tight of groups we were in those two championship team that we had over there. So it reminded me a little bit of that, and so like I said, really easy for me to just jump in there and kind of fit in right away, I feel like.
Did you have any issues with anybody prior to joining the Ottawa Senators? Had you had any mix-ups on the ice?
No, not really. I'm trying to think honestly of the guys around. I mean, wasn't really a fan of Wally, obviously. I was a little scared of him playing against him. But I got to meet him, and obviously great guy. But no, I didn't really have any beef with. Oh, you know what? Actually, there's one time I played in Ottawa, and I finished my hit a little late on Josh. It was a little late, and the puck came to me right away, right after that. And I think he got a penalty for interference after trying to hit you before I got the puck, and we ended up scoring on it. And I think that was the most chirp I've had against any Ottawa Senators. Maybe him and Holdy trying to cross check me too hard, boxing me out in front of the net. That's the two guys I'd say.
Stuff is so good. Okay, what's the biggest celebrity you've ever hung out with?
Oh boy. I don't really know, honestly. I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking like Stanley Cup parties. There must be somebody hanging around.
Yeah, I wasn't really sober for those moments. Those are a little hard to answer.
Fair enough.
No, but honestly, Ron Gravy was around the team a lot. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to hang out with him. But yeah, I would say probably him. Obviously, we met some guys from a little bit everywhere being around the league, but I like my tight group too, my close friend group at home, and I would say maybe Shabby's probably the biggest celebrity I've hung out with.
If you had to sing, I won't tell him. If you had to sing karaoke with one of your teammates, I'm not going to let you pick Shabby because you're too close. Who would you pick?
Okay. Well, you know what? I might take Brady. I think Brady was really good at singing. Was it Wonderwall? Yeah.
Or Mr. Brightside, one of those.
Yeah, Mr. Brightside. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, it was killers.
And he doesn't really have shyness at all. And Brownie wasn't there, but if I think prior to this, I'll probably take Brownie and sing a pretty good rap song together.
You've become a bit of a fashion guy on TikTok, or at least you like to be on TikTok, showing what you've got in the closet. Will you be offering fashion advice to the Ottawa Senators?
You know what? I don't think so at all. I'm gonna have to change my wardrobe a little colder. To be honest, I need a couple coats that I didn't really need in like the last couple of years. But no, honestly, I think in general, just coming in the room in Ottawa, and I was like, wow, guys are dressing really well. I mean, obviously around the league as well, but it's a little bit of a fashion, not a fashion show. I wouldn't say fashion show, but a fashion on sometimes going to the rink. I think Stutes TV is always wearing his A1 outfits everywhere he goes. So he's a fashion kind of guys, and I think in general on our team, the guys that like to dress well, and it's good. I mean, it's good to feel good in what you're wearing, and but definitely not here for giving me any fashion tips.
Okay, who's the worst? You haven't had a lot of time to see, guys.
Yeah, that's
who's
hard.
the worst dresser?
There's got to be one guy.
There's
got to be a guy wearing like. Sorry, there's got to be a guy wearing like straight leg jeans or like just bad style. Like there's got to be one guy.
Honestly, like I hate to say it, but sometimes I really had to say to ask like Hammer what he was wearing. I was like Hammy, man, what are you wearing, buddy? Like, but honestly, I'm kind of fucking around a bit, but obviously he had some great suits and stuff. But there's some days when he came in, and he's a guy, and obviously from Winnipeg, I think, and he's got more of that farmer vibe a little bit. And
he's from Winnipeg. That's all you had to say.
Winnipeg.
He's from Winnipeg.
Exactly.
There's not a whole lot going on there.
Great guy, great guy, good looking dude too. But just sometimes I was like, maybe I wouldn't have wear this with that, But it's not me, So love Hammer.
That's good.
The way, love him.
That's good.
When will you put like both your rings on and go out? Like, what event would it be that you really want to show off to somebody?
Yeah, see, that's pretty easy for me to answer. I brought that maybe twice, and first time was when they asked us to bring it, and I didn't even bring it on my way back to the White House. Like all the guys had it, and I've shown it a couple of times if people ask me, but I don't really wear it at all.
Well, I'd like to wear it then. I could brag about this at the bar, right? I don't know if you've seen this or not, but do you have hobbies? What does Mathieu Joseph do when he's not playing hockey?
Yeah, obviously love golfing. Haven't played enough this summer. I wish I played a little bit more, but love golfing. Really fan of it. I love tennis as well. I don't, like I said, not play. Didn't play as much as I wanted to this summer, but huge tennis fan in our family in general. I do a little bit of music here and there, but I'm not very good at it. I'm trying to learn a little bit, but that's a hobby I think I'm gonna have a little bit more time to do with all that snow this year. So, but yeah, I would say probably those three things are, I play video games here and there, but meh, not that much. So, yeah, you know what? I like things that usually makes challenge me a little bit. Golf is no matter in any point, even if they're an expert at it, still challenges you and anywhere you're on the course. And same with music, it's not something that I get to. I did often when I was younger, so it's fun for me to do.
Okay, so you brought it up with music. What's the one artist on your playlist that people wouldn't expect to hear?
One artist in my playlist that people wouldn't expect me to have in my playlist.
Yeah,
that's what you mean?
Yeah.
Something kind of embarrassing. Something kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I really like that song "Unwritten" by Natasha.
Bedingfield. Great song.
Yeah, I love that song actually.
It's a good song.
There's some songs you have in your phone that you don't skip. You go next, you play shuffle, and that's one of the songs. If it gets on, I'm not skipping it.
Do you work out you obviously take pretty good care of yourself. Do you work out to it? Is it on in the gym?
No, I don't put it in the gym. No.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing.
But before games, honestly, I'm a huge music guy. I listen to music a lot during games, and there's some embarrassing things in there here and there, like Miley Cyrus, part in USA. I'd let it play here and there. Yeah, some random things that people wouldn't necessarily expect. That's for sure. Interesting.
One question we ask all our guests: if you're sitting on the couch and you're watching Suits with your brother or whatever, what is your cheat snack? What is the one thing that you would like to eat more often that you probably shouldn't?
This
one's so easy. Well, it's so easy. I'm a huge sweet kind of guy, by the way. So I really like cookies and sweets, to be honest. Huge cereal guy. I always have 5 or 6 different types of cereal at home.
Me too.
And you know what? I think the number one thing, if you go with chocolate, I would have Swiss rolls. I could eat a full box of Swiss rolls.
Wow.
Yeah, really do enjoy it. And if you go with candy wise, I can finish a good package of Sour Patch Kids as well. So both ways, whatever you want.
I really like Wally. This is great because we've got probably one of the fittest guys that we've had on our podcast, and he was so specific with all his cheat snacks. There was no doubt whatsoever.
Oh my god,
I like that.
You have no idea, honestly. I'm kind of lucky in some ways because I do have a fast metabolism. Maybe it's because the energy I spend just talking so much that just makes me burn so much calories. But I've been pretty lucky to eat pretty much what I want since I'm born, and that's obviously taking care of what I eat. It's crucial for how I feel on the ice, but I can have a couple of cheat days, maybe more often than others.
Yeah, and you're 25, right? So
and,
a couple of years, it starts to go a little bit, just a little bit.
We'll see.
You'll burn lots of calories this winter as you shovel your driveway. So there's the added bonus of that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Mathieu, we appreciate your time for stopping by. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been excited to have you on because people get to see the personality that you have. It will be infectious. You will be a fan favorite if you're not already. And so that's what we look forward to. It's an exciting year, and we look forward to seeing how you're going to be playing on the ice with this team.
Thank you so much. I did have a lot of fun. Should have should have answered earlier than that. That's for sure.
Well, hopefully it won't be 5 more months so we can get you back on the show.
We'll get you back on here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, take care, my friend. Good luck this season.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you so much, guys.
And as always, thank you very much to Mathieu Joseph for stopping by. The Wally Methot Show has all its merchandise at gongshowgear.ca. Go on their website, check out the website. There's all kinds of sales going on at the moment, and get the latest in hockey fashion apparel. That includes the Wally Methot merchandise. Gongshowgear.ca. Go to the collaboration section, and you'll find it. All right, time to welcome into the show, as always, master graphic maker, Craig.
Hey, what's up? I want to get back in talking about some shirts here in a second, but before we do that, Mathieu Joseph hit on something that hit very close to home for me when he brought up Swiss rolls. I don't know if you guys know this. I eat a Swiss roll a day.
What?
Oh yeah, I'm not kidding.
No idea.
Yeah,
You're an animal.
I eat like one a day. It's probably like I've tried to scale back the bad foods I eat, but that's the exception I will make. I eat one a day.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I don't remember the last time I had one.
They started selling them fresh now too. You can buy them from like Farm Boy or the grocery stores. There's like fresh made Swiss rolls. I'm not kidding, man. I eat like one a day. We have to buy like 2 or 3 packs at a time because my kids make fun of me. Like they get an allotment. They each are allowed 2 of whichever one they want over the course of the week. Help yourselves. But yeah, it's so we're all consuming a lot of Swiss rolls around here. So that was kind of fun. It's kind of fun to hear. Hey, but maybe that's the physique trick, right? I don't know.
Maybe
that's.
I'll write that down for a Christmas gift for Craig.
But
I don't think.
Yeah, all right.
It's probably not the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah. Another thing, boys, while you guys were chatting, I saw yesterday actually, the Buffalo Sabres are bringing back the goat head jersey, which should bring some fond and unfond memories to Sens fans around the world. Because that jersey played some roles on both sides, but it got me thinking a little bit too, as far as like, what are some of the other like kind of more iconic jerseys from years past that maybe you'd like to see come back as a part of the reverse retro thing that the NHL's got going on this year?
I've always liked the Vancouver stick. That's always been a big one for me. I just like the colors. I like the look. That would probably be at the top of the list. And then I don't know if you can consider Hartford or the Quebec Nordiques ones. Those are always cool because you just don't see them anymore.
Carolina won the Hartford ones, right? I think.
Yeah, they did it last year.
That was kind of correct.
Yeah.
Mine would be, I think, just because growing up, like the Mighty Ducks hit so hard, is the logo they had in '93. I think they brought in, and they've had it since. I think it was their third until like 2006. Like the old school from the movie, right? It's just between the nostalgia. I love the look. I don't know. It just hits different for me. That would be my pick.
I think the Jets got some room to make some stuff. I'd like to see.
Oh,
I don't
totally.
know. Like, first off, their original one is classic. Like the ones they wore for the 90s, the Timu Solane ones. Those are so nice. But could they rock a Thrashers? Like, is that the same as Carolina?
No.
They couldn't do it.
No, those jerseys were terrible.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But not only that, nobody wants to remember the Atlanta Thrashers.
Like, it's a very forgettable place.
There's nobody in Winnipeg that's like, man, I wish we had an Atlanta Thrasher jersey to wear.
No chance.
So that'll be the one. You know what? The other one is Colorado Rockies. I like the C look they had too. I thought that one was pretty cool.
Oh, you know what I want to bring here? This is I know this is for the video, and you guys probably the audio listeners can't hear it. But remember the 90, I think it was like the 93 All-Star jerseys.
Oh,
do you guys remember those?
Yeah. Those are filthy.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just like, again, I remember the hockey cards and like the nostalgia around that kind of stuff. Like I miss that. That's what I'd like to see return.
I think it was like 88 or 87, but they had one of them, instead of going black and white, one of them was orange. Like they had the orange one and then the white one.
Say no more.
Gretzky.
There you go. So yeah,
speak of them.
Those ones are pretty sick too. So yeah, I mean, there's some pretty
nasty.
Cool All-Star jerseys. I mean, the All-Star jerseys they've been pumping out lately have been pretty lackluster. So I'd like.
It's hard though, man. It's hard to be original, right? Like to find something new that everybody will agree with.
Yeah.
But why do you have to keep? I guess you have to keep changing it to sell it. But why can't you still stay with the old school look? And you know what? In fact, I would like them to bring back that old school NHL shield, the orange one, and just have it on the jerseys this year.
I love them. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I just don't know the business angle, right? I'm sure they want to pump out new stuff, and so
As far as
All
like
about the dollar.
as far as like Sens jerseys go, is there now they got to do a reverse retro too, and they've leaned heavily into the retro for their mains. What would you? Is there a jersey you'd bring back for the reverse retro?
That cheese ball Parliament Hill one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Like I don't
No.
necessarily like it, but we're scraping the barrel here because they're already using the 2Ds. They brought that back as their full-time ones.
Yeah.
I think the O one could have been done a little bit better. Like that was the one that I was rocking when I played there as a third.
Yeah.
The jersey material, like it was kind of cheap looking. But I loved the O, especially the white one. The white one that we wore in Vancouver for the outdoor games.
Yeah, the
it had a little
white.
bit of that. Yeah, like
The
the antique
Heritage
looking
Classic.
one, the Heritage Classic jersey. I wouldn't mind seeing that one come back in some kind of shape or form.
That'd be the only one.
I was watching, you guys can't get mad. I was watching Danny Heatley highlights. I was trying to explain to my son how good Danny Heatley actually was. And number one, dude, that guy got done dirty by the fact that all his highlights are from the era where like everything was like crappy quality. Like,
I know.
You don't have film and you don't have like good digital. So everything's pixelated and crappy. Like he lost interest right away. He did not want to watch that. But anyway, I saw them rocking they call it the Senegoth, the one that's kind of a little off centered and weird eyes. It didn't look as bad.
Right.
It didn't look as bad as I remember. The black one. I remember not liking it, but now some time has passed. I think I've just grown to hate that 3D one as much, like the one that you're wearing over your shoulder there, Meth. Like, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. I've seen it. We had it for like 10 plus years. It was too long. Now you see some of those older ones and they come back a little bit. So I like your idea of the Parliament Hill one too. That's one they never wore. But I like the idea of it. Like it does have some kind of history and credence to what they're doing in the 30th anniversary of the team. And so maybe there's something there to redesign it and give it some life. But I don't know. I was a little disappointed. It just went red with their reverse retro a year or two ago or whatever it was. Kind of lackluster.
We haven't brought up the Sens, black Sens one.
Yeah.
Would we do that again?
Listen, I like that one. I know a lot of people don't. I don't like that it says Sens. I don't like that. As far as the actual jersey goes, I don't hate it. I like the sleeves. The socks that went with it were pretty nice. But it's I don't know if we can bring that one back. It was only around for a couple of years. A big part of it too, and Matthew, you could probably speak to this, is a lot of guys, the jerseys they like are the ones that have good records in. You know what I mean? Like, I know you guys there was a point where you guys didn't like wearing one of the Heritage or whatever, because you guys had a losing record or whatever. When they were doing, I think it was like Throwback Thursdays. You guys wore them every Thursday game.
Yeah.
I think the records in them weren't good, which is why that you guys didn't wear them in the playoffs.
But it's a lot of that. Like I never cared what jersey I wore, but a lot of it is either the coach is incredibly superstitious or some of your goal scorers on the team, like the top end guys, aren't scoring in them or something ridiculous like that. So selfishly, they'll want to go back and revert to another one. But most of us level-headed players were pretty cool with anything we had on our backs. We didn't care.
Okay, I got a quick math because you were at the Parliament Hill the other week signing autographs for the outdoor hockey thing. You wore a jersey. I'm just curious, now that you're out and all that, is putting the jersey on, does it mean anything to you at this point?
It does. No, it's 100. Well, it wouldn't if I would walking around the house with it on and no one's around, no one gives a shit if I'm wearing a jersey or not. But when you're in public, like we did that thing with all the kids, the Ukrainian refugees, and we were teaching them how to play hockey and stuff, which was a really cool experience. Putting the jersey on for that was neat because you're downtown, you're in your home city, it's where the Senators play, obviously. And I don't know, I still kind of gets me in the feels when I put it on. Absolutely, there's no question. And I think to cap that thought off, I wish I could wear that 2D one. That's one regret. Like having that jersey on, it's just so crisp and clean, like such a huge fan of that logo.
The alumni. Can you wear it for the alumni games?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
That was the one players used to ask about all the time. Hey, when are we going back to these? And what?
I don't know why it took so long, but to their credit, they finally did it and they've made the correction. But yeah, it's just night and day in comparison to the 3D one right here.
I think a big part of it was, and I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about this. I think a big part of it was they were making so much money off the Heritage O jersey as their third jersey. They didn't want to change anything. Like they were making so much money just selling their third jerseys that they didn't want to switch because everybody wanted the cool separate one or whatever. So there was a point where they were eligible for a jersey kind of update to apply for it or whatever. And they passed. This was probably like 2015 or so.
My daughter's only known jersey or only Ottawa Senator jersey is a Heritage Marc Methot jersey.
There you go.
Great taste.
Brent, do you own any jerseys with player name?
Yeah, he's got a Methot one. He's got a Methot t-shirt he wears to bed.
My wife wears it. Is I do so during the 04-05 lockout, they brought us in for media training camp where they gave us locker stalls. They treated us like gold for 3 days. They did video, name bars, all that stuff. Anyway, they had a set of Coho jerseys that they weren't going to be able to use, so they made us all up jerseys. So I've got my own name on a 9. That's one. But I do have a Pascal Leclerc jersey that I signed, that I won. It doesn't get worn. Or I have a Carl Rakunik as well.
Okay, nice. That's good.
I ended up buying his vehicle from Canada Ford, and so they gave you the jersey anyway. And we do have a Dion Phaneuf one in here that I got to give away at some point. So
nice.
I think those are the 3.
It's hard because my son, he's a kid, right? So he would always ask me who I would get if I would get a jersey. What name would I get on the back? And I told him, like, dude, it's hard. Like, it's kind of hard as an adult to pick a favorite guy. Like, that's more of a, not a kid thing, but it's a fanatic thing, right? So and I'm not really there, but that's a pretty good collection. I have a jersey with my name on the back too. They gave it to me when I left in like 2013. It's like number 1 and it says my name on the back. I was like, guys, I can't wear this. What am I doing? Beat up. I'm number 1. Yeah. Like, that doesn't work. So I gave it to my dad. Yeah, I gave it to my dad, and I think he's pretty psyched. But
yeah. Oh, good. They're changing the jersey. Last question I have. So this is the last year, and then they're going to a new equipment supplier, not Adidas, next year. So are people going to buy jerseys this year?
I'd wait till the end of the year, I think.
Right? But if you want the Alex DeBrincat, Claude Giroux, like,
but how many people are actually aware? How many people like out there are aware of this jersey switch? This is the first I've heard of that. I think,
Yeah, when they did the switch to Adidas from, was it Reebok? I think.
Then when they did Reebok prior.
Yeah, when they did that switch, there was like that whole year leading up to it, like any ticket promotion was like, get a jersey for $50. And so if you start seeing that stuff, it's like, there you go. So it's a good indicator. It's a good opportunity too. If you are looking for, because man, like who cares, right? If you want to, like, if you're just looking for one of these new 2Ds, like, they're beautiful, man. If you can get those for cheap, because it just says Adidas on it, I would pick one up. So
100%.
That would be me.
All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. I'm interested. Okay. We'll all get our own jerseys on there. Matthew already have one, and then we'll all go to the games together.
I'm getting 69. I'll take the number.
Great number. Best number.
I'll do it. I'll start it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the Wally Methot Show, brought to you by Ridge Rock Brewery. We'll see you next time, everybody.